Hey guys, Scott, Kai, good to see you here on my podcast. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. We're happy to be here.
Yep, happy to be here.
I'm excited to talk about your escape room and your journey in creating of it. If you don't mind, share with us a little bit. So you're in Phoenix, Arizona. Uh, Tell us more about the immersive machine.
Yeah, go ahead, Kay. You kick it on.
Oh God, thanks for putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, the Immersive Machine, we're a cyberpunk escape room. Currently, we only have one room, which is South Cybernetics. We are currently working on two more. We are a very ambitious crew of two, and we kind of do a little bit of everything. So I do everything from set design to construction to prop making, and Scott.
Yeah, I handle most of the tech things. And then we both work on puzzle design together. And yeah, so we both worked on our own kind of projects leading up to the creation of the escape room. I did stuff with Blizzard, the game studio in California, where I made these kind of immersive events. And they kind of were escape room adjacent. So that's where I kind of learned the game design side of things, and I got into escape rooms and got excited about them. And I wanted to open an escape room in Southern California, but that's when COVID happened, and I moved back to Phoenix. And when I did, I met Kay, and Kay had all the skills that I don't have. And so between the two of us, we were able to, yeah, like see, we decided to see if it would make a good partnership. And we built Cell Cybernetics as kind of a test to see if we could work together and if we could make something cool.
Yes, and I visited your location when we were building our escape room in Phoenix, and I've been blown away that attention to the details, the story, the cool small details that I don't want to reveal to the audience, but it's just amazing. So tell me, how long did it take you to create this story, and what everything started with? Like, how do you even start creation of that kind of story?
Well, I wouldn't say like how we did it is necessarily how everybody does it, but it took us exactly 1 year from incorporation to the actual launch of SALS to build. So it was January 2022, and we launched in January of 2023. And while we created the story from scratch, it changed several times from start to finish. I think there were only like maybe three things that made it from beginning to end of its creation. And we just kind of, whenever we hit a roadblock, that is this fun was the first thing that we asked. How can we make it better? And, where do we go from here? 9 times out of 10, it was he had an idea for it, I had an idea for it, and then we combine it together and we move on from there. So,
Yeah.
all general compromise.
We weren't afraid to throw away a lot of ideas that we had, even stuff that we spent months working on. If it wasn't fun in the end, then it had to go. So we decided to just not be too attached to our ideas when it came to the game. And I think that helped us to reach the right game. And then even once we opened, we've never stopped making tweaks and adjustments to try to make it better and make it flow better and make it more fun. Sometimes to our detriment, because it's very hard to stop making adjustments and then focus on the next project for us. So at a certain point, we were like, okay, we need to say this is good enough and then really focus on moving forward with our next builds.
Actually, kind of feel like that perfectly describes how we launched Sal's. Like, we finally got to a point where, like, what's next? And we're like, nothing. Nothing. Wait, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, done. What do we do now? Oh, wait, we open. That's what we do.
There is just two of you working. There was no outside labor involved, so you guys build everything, or did you like use some of the contractors for any trades?
We have a friend who's an electrician who came in and did all of that. So, because neither one of us are high voltage electricians, but framing, things like that, that's something I've known how to do most of my life. So that's what I do.
I reached some roadblocks where I reached out to other people in the escape room tech universe, and if I hit a roadblock, they would help me through it. So I really didn't have any experience coding or with electronics. I had to teach myself most of that as I was going. Now I've learned a lot, and I'm trying to pass along what I've learned and help mentor other people that get stuck. But yeah, for the most part, I would say we've done pretty much everything ourselves. And at this point, if it wasn't something that we originally did ourselves, we've redone it, and now it's 100% us. We're trying to grow our team a little bit. We have someone working part-time as a fabricator for our next room to help us try to pull that together, so that we can open the second experience.
Nice. Any expectation of when you planning to open?
I'd probably say we're shooting for early February at the latest. But you know how these things go, building rooms, like sometimes it takes a little bit longer, normally longer than you think. But that's our hard goal, was to try and get it done before the end of the year and get into beta testing and get it open by early February.
Yeah, we were planning on, so we've been working for almost 2 years on our second room, and it's very ambitious. It's twice the size of the first space, a huge task.
It's actually the story that when you and I met, he came
Yeah.
to me and he had this story in mind.
Yeah, I've had an idea for an escape room since 2017 that I've been working on all this time. And that's kind of like my dream room, and it's what I've always wanted to build. So we've been working on that for a couple of years.
Since Sal opened.
Yeah. And we realized that it was just coming along slowly, that we needed to get another room open. So we actually paused construction on that room in June, I think. And we decided to focus on our third room and just try to see if we could make it from start to finish in about 6 months on that build. It's a smaller space, and we decided to just put all of our effort into to one small space to try to get that up and running faster, so that we'll have a little bit more resources and be able to put more into the other room and make sure it doesn't, it lives up to what's in my brain, our brain.
For somebody who is just starting up, they're probably going to be very interested to hear your story. How do you guys fund it? Because it takes, like you describing, that it takes you a year over the year to build a new room. Tell us a little bit more about like struggles, I guess, and your particular situation, how you be able to afford to build it for so long and survive.
So our situation was a little different. So Scott and I mentioned we met when he moved back. And before we even decided to do this, I already owned a building. And at the time, I was renting out square footage to artists. And then COVID hit and nobody wanted to rent anymore. So it wasn't doing very well. It was basically just paying for itself, paying the rent. So when him and I met and he talked about escape rooms and what he wanted to do, and then I did a little bit more research into like zoning and like what it was going to require and like what it needed, I figured out that my building already has all those things. We're already ready for that. So I actually personally gave up my own art studio, which is actually where Sal's is now. And while I was running the art studio and renting the space, we personally funded with, 50/50 with our own money, um, credit cards, things like that. We did all the work ourselves and we built out Sal's. All the while we didn't have to pay the rent because that was already being paid for by my other business. So the situation is a little bit different. I think by the end of it, it cost each of us, what was it, 12K?
Yeah,
So
I
it was
think
like 24 for the whole thing.
yeah. So yeah, we built Sal Cybernetics under $25,000, but it was like a lot of sweat equity. We put a lot of our own work into it to make that happen.
Wow.
So it's a pretty yeah. I think we're very proud of what we made, obviously. And now Sal's is self-sufficient. We don't have any artists renting space here anymore. It by itself, the one room kind of pays the bills, because I think we've built up a good reputation. We have a pretty high booking percentage of we're only open 4 days a week. So
We're building the other 3.
yeah, we build on the other 3 days of the week, basically. Yeah. So, but for it to be able to pay the bills with just one room, I think is very difficult for most people. We're excited to get to a place where the next room will, finally start generating a little bit of extra money and help pay for the next build after that, and pay for employees. Because right now we don't really have any employees that run games either. We're running all the games ourselves. I still have my day job. So yeah, so that's helping to fund the build also, and my life.
What does your numbers looks like? So you open 4 days a week. What percentage? So is it what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a total of 22 open booking slots over those 4 days. We've been open for 3 years now. The first year we had about a 55% booking rate for the year. The second year we had about 65%. And this year we're over 70% for all the slots that are available to be booked. So that's, I think, pretty high for the industry. I hear people talking about their booking percentages are usually around 30%, or somewhere around there for the amount of available slots. So by having, less slots available, obviously we're not pulling in as much money, but we don't have to pay for employees. And we managed to fill our slots pretty well.
Nice, nice. And so, what would you say the reason why you're so successful with booking the slots? And again, I think I know the answer, but I want to hear your opinion, humble opinion, on what is the secret to the success, because it's truly success in today's market. Like I would say, only a small percentage of companies can be proud and say, hey, this is our booking rate during when we open.
I mean, at the beginning, I think Morty helped out a lot. We developed a very good reputation quickly, and we had a lot of hype kind of going for us. I'm very involved in the escape room industry in general, so I know a lot of owners. I played a lot of rooms in Southern California, and I've been to Recon. I've been to other conventions, and I've managed to make a lot of friends, and I think that helps to networking helps a lot to spread the word initially, and then and getting good hype and good initial buzz, I guess, helped us at the beginning, right?
I mean, when you and I were talking, I was like, your experience and your connections inside the escape room industry were invaluable from a business standpoint. So that was also another reason why I was like, yeah, let's start a business together. You know what you're doing. I was like, I'll just do the books.
But yeah, I mean, we've managed this far. Knock on wood, we've been open now 3 years, and we have never received anything but a 5-star rating on Google, and we've got a lot of good awards and stuff from we've put a lot of heart and a lot of effort into our game. I think we've made a good game.
I think what he's trying to say is that we take pride in our product and our customers enjoy it, and we enjoy the fact that they enjoy it, and we keep trying, which makes us want to give even more of an experience, because it's not just while you're in the room, it's also when you come in. We have full amenities in our briefing room. We've never had anybody complain about waiting. We have everything from costumes for our customers, we have refreshments, we have starter puzzles where they can re-up on energy snacks. So it's an experience from the moment they walk in. We ask them what their favorite games are. Have they played before? If they've never played before, we give them tips and tricks in order to because we want them to succeed and we enjoy it. And watching them play the game, that makes it worth it for us.
I reached out to a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram, and I invited them to come play for free. We didn't pay for anyone to come in. We just invited them in and told them that we'd give them a free game. And pretty early on, that made us hit like the front page of TikTok when you're searching for escape rooms in Arizona. And even to this day, we haven't done that again. It was just like this one block of maybe like 2 weeks that I spent really pushing for that, and it's still paying dividends. Like just last night, we had a huge group in they found us on TikTok, and we have that every week. People find us on TikTok, and it was just from that initial investment of time and energy to get the word out.
The other thing is talking with and getting to know your other escape room owners in your neighborhood, because 9 times out of 10 we get recommendations from other escape rooms too, and we recommend them, of course, because obviously we're not competition. Once you play our game, of course we want you to go play more good games. And I love that's how the industry really is, at least among most of the escape room owners that I've met. So getting to know them and playing their games, and they send their GMs to us. In turn, when we get GMs, we'll be sending them to them to play other games and see how it's done. And it's kind of a fun community, and the players really like that too.
We were always recommending Paranoia Quest in Tempe, and vice versa. We get a lot of people that can come to us, and we can't really handle corporate bookings because we don't have enough space yet. So we send a lot of corporate bookings your way too. So I think that helps. That relationship helps. We're proud. We know you have a good product, so we're happy to recommend you guys. And then we have a good product, so you're happy to recommend us. So it's a very reciprocal kind of relationship.
Yeah, I really like Phoenix Market. I think it's truly became a destination lately, with some great escape rooms located now there. And I'm proud to say that, we have a location there with our Quest video. I think it's well known now. And I think you guys are a big reason for that. There's a few other players in the market, And we strongly suggest yet for everyone who is watching, and if you haven't visited Phoenix, it's definitely the place which you want to check. If you are multi-app user, definitely check out Phoenix Games. There is a highly rated games in multiple locations there, so it's worth for escape room enthusiasts to come to Phoenix, where you can actually spend easily 3-4 days, and you can hit, I don't know, 15 probably games easily between multiple locations, and you don't have to travel far, just arrive into the Phoenix, and then you're gonna have a great time.
I mean, we also have like one of the highest amounts of like immersive bars and experiences too. And like there's a lot of stuff in Arizona. I mean,
That's
we're
true.
predominantly an indoor community. So, of course, we're going to make things that are cool indoors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people that from the escape room world have a lot of fun in Phoenix in general.
absolutely. Now let me shift my attention a little bit. It's so interesting to see dynamics between two of you as a partners. So you didn't know each other before you went on this journey together, right? Can you share with us what is the things that people need to look at when they're looking to do a partnership in a business like escape rooms, because it's not easy business to start?
Well, we had both previously, run our own businesses. So it was difficult for either of us to take a back seat, so and learning how to collaborate and learning how to be able to speak to each other was a process. We had to, there were certain times where we were passionate about an idea, or we'll have an idea and pitch it to the other person, and being able to really know how to take that information and collaborate was something we had to learn. What I found out is if there was something that I really, really liked and it wasn't connecting with Kalia, I would say, hey, can we like sleep on this and think about it tomorrow? I would say if it's something that was important to me, I would try to make the effort to say like, okay, let's table this for now, but maybe we can come back to it. So learning how to communicate was the big hurdle for me to start with.
And then for me, my brain goes all over the place. I have severe ADHD and I'm a more visual person. And if I'm trying to get something across to him, 9 times out of 10, he'll look at me and go, okay, draw it for me. I'm like, okay. And then we'll get on the same page. It is again communication. It was a lot of it was communication, communication, communication. That's pretty much all five, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, it
Um,
is like a relationship, it's the partnership is something that has its ups and downs. We'll have arguments, we'll get over it, but learning how to talk things through is it.
and for us, before we actually started working together, I think, at least for me, I don't know if it was like this for you, I went through the pros and cons in my head. I went, okay, I have these skills that he needs. He has skills that I don't know how to program tech. I don't know how to, I don't know how to do that. I'm practical effects and he's special effects, if you, that makes sense. So when we were checking off boxes, it was like, okay, now those things I know those will work, but he also had the knowledge of the escape room industry. When we met, I was in the home haunt industry. I did a lot of props and like cosplay and a lot of sets and things like that, like for small events, but I'd only played 2 escape rooms. So he came with, what was it, like 300 and some odd under your belt, and you were involved with the industry and you involved with the spreadsheet there in California. And there were just so many things. I was like, okay, he knows the industry. Now for me, I've run several businesses and I know how to do the books. I know how to, so it was very much like we both came to the table with equal shares of skills. And that was kind of what we needed. And we didn't really need to hire anybody after that. And what we didn't know, then we hired somebody. It was very rare.
So let me ask you, how
So
did you guys decided, okay, who gonna own what percentage of the company? So did you guys even use operating agreement or like anything, I don't know, napkin to describe who's gonna be responsible for what and how you're gonna be sharing the profits or how it's gonna look in general?
So right now it's 50-50, right down the middle. It's equal so that, because ultimately it came down to we have this thing that we're building in a building that I own. So, but we wanted it to be 50-50 so that it was fair. We didn't have an operating agreement at first. We did eventually write one when we incorporated, but it was like at first it was like, during the planning stages, it was like, can we even get through the planning stages without killing each other?
So yeah, I mean, at a certain point, we're like, okay, we need a partnership agreement. Like, if things don't work out, then where do we go from there? Like, how do we cash out? How can one person buy the other person out? And we kept track of all the expenses and all the money that we were putting into the business, basically on a spreadsheet, so that we knew who had contributed what, so that money at least was like owed back to the person that was involved,
As your investment.
as the investment for the build for the business, basically. So it's not a fun thing to like think and talk about. Making the fun escape room is like the more exciting thing, but it's important, I think, to at least have that stuff written out and have an understanding.
Yeah. Where did you get operating agreement? Did you have to hire an attorney, or did you just draft it with, I don't know, ChatGPT, or tell us
It was
how?
before ChatGPT. We just
Yeah.
found a partnership agreement online and then edited it, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying. It was like, I think it was like LegalZoom actually. I filled in all the information and then it just like spat it out for me in legalese.
Nice. Okay. So guys, make a note if you're looking right now online, and if you want to check it, check this website. Also, again, ChatGPT, but for all of our partnerships, because I live and breathe with the partnerships. Like, I don't do anything by myself, just because I believe that true partnership can help you to excel so much faster. We use a operating agreement that we attorneys drafted a long time ago. It was one of the partnerships that I've been into as a minor partner, and they use incredible operating agreement. Because I participated in the project and I was one of the partners, I had ability to use this operating agreement. We modified it since multiple times, but yeah, to have operating agreement and to have everything written down, like what's going to happen if somebody going to die, or what's going to happen if one of the partners just want to quit because they just tired, or what's going to happen if equal partners who is investing equal amount of money, but one of them suddenly lose money and cannot afford to invest anymore. What's going to happen then? There's many questions that we don't think about when we're starting a new partnership, but it's important to have, because life happens and unexpected things happen. And you need to know what's going to happen if it happens.
Those agreements are online somewhere that you can share too.
Unfortunately, I know I don't easily share it, but people who we partner up with, they have access to it. And people who we do marketing for, we actually like have ability to do consulting, and we'll give them and modify it for them. So yeah, absolutely. So if you know anyone who needs a very good operating agreement, bring them in. We'll talk to them and we'll help, because we do consulting all the time, for not only for C firms but for all kinds of entertainment businesses. Let me ask you, how do you guys manage day-to-day operations between right now? So you have a full-time job, you still work, right? So until today, you still have a full-time job, and you managing to run operations, and you managing to do a build out. What kind of like advice can you give it to somebody who just starting up from scratch? Like how to manage life and kids and family?
It's not easy. Luckily, I have no life and kids or family. For me, this is kind of like my child. So I can put a lot of effort into this because, I it's my main focus, at least for now. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you need some sort of passion if you're going to be able to maintain the energy to see something like this through. It's just a ton of work, and the day job I will keep as long as I can because it's stable and it's good to have, and I can work remote, so I can work from the escape room. Like while I'm here, I can do my day job, and then I can go straight into working on the escape room stuff. We've managed to get into a position at least where the escape room can afford to pay for Kalia to work full time here. It's a balance, but I don't really know how to balance. I just always work,
And my kid's older. She now drives herself. She's 18, so I don't have to deal with that anymore. But when we first started, I was coming in, dropping her off at school, 8 o'clock in the morning. I would come to work the entire time she was at school. I would leave, pick her up every day. Sometimes I would come back to do more work. Most of the time, though, it was like, okay, I would get as much as I could done during these hours, and then I would go home. And then we work shifts. Like he takes Thursday, I take a Thursday, and then we switch off Fridays. And we each take half of the weekend.
Yeah, we've
So
managed to split all of the actual like shifts for running games equally.
so it's like, yeah, we're working a little bit every day of the week, but because the load is shared, it's not like a full 8-hour work week on the days that we're open, which is nice. But then again, we go home and we're constantly, I don't know how many times I've called you at like texted you 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I had an idea for that thing.
Yeah.
Like it never turns off. So I don't know if we're the best example for that home work life balance there. But having a good either work partner or a good crew is probably going to be your best bet. Being able to have people that you trust that you can let the reins go to, because on the days that he's there, I don't worry like at all that something's not going to get done, and I hope vice versa.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
I
Yeah, I mean, we're a little, it's a scary point for us because we're getting to the point where we have to hire staff and we have to let go of the reins a little bit and try to find good people that we can bring in to our organization. And I'm sure you know a lot more about that than we do. And it's going to be a challenge for us to not be in control of it and to shift more into managing the business and building more and not running the day to day. So we're right on the threshold of that. Once the next room opens, we're gonna have to increase our hours and hire staff and see what happens.
Are you guys doing same way the second room, where like you don't have really like actors, right? So are you planning to bring any element? Because I know a lot of people talking about like escape rooms evolving, and now it's becoming like more and more immersive, and you guys completely on the immersive side, obviously. But a lot of people also talking like, actors bring so much extra, and it's very valuable. Where are you guys stand with that?
Well, you've played our room and you understand our unique immersive style. We are carrying that into both of the other rooms.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do though. We're trying to be um, cognizant of the game master to make it more approachable so that game masters can run the game that maybe don't have to be actors or don't have to have that ability. So we want to make sure that we're designing in a way that makes the business make sense also. We don't want to be so reliant on acting ability, but we want to be able to make sure we have the experience. We don't want to ever jeopardize the experience. It has to come first, but we also want to, be smart about the decisions that we're making.
Mhm.
Because
Now,
we have tried to hire for Sal's, and that's the problem we run into is you know which character we're talking about.
mhm.
Trying to find somebody that can run that character
It-
is the hardest part.
yeah, it turned out to be harder than we thought it would be. We didn't realize that there was a big a skill threshold that was required. We haven't really like cast a wide net. We haven't gotten people in here that are actors or improv actors, or we need to audition more people and see what the market really has to offer as far as employees.
Mhm.
Phoenix is a big place and there's lots of talent. So I'm sure we can find people that are talented to do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we tried a couple times already and it was more difficult than we thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely challenging. I can tell you that I've been always trying to stay away from like full actors through the whole game, just because of the payroll. We have actors where it's our game masters who is at the beginning in the cost to start the game, but then again, they just one person who runs the room, and they're game masters, so it's not additional actors by any means. My main thinking behind it was always that I'm, against like extra payroll because that can make it or break it. But with that being said, right now I'm building a new project in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's going to be heavily actor driven. We're going to have multiple actors, and I'm curious to see. I hope it's going to work out, because at the end we're planning to have their 4 rooms. We opening with 2, and then we need to build 2 more rooms, and with payroll factor with the actors and the talent that we need to have there to execute on the highest level. I'm a little bit like worried, but the partners who we partner up with, they have tremendous experience in this field, and we'll see how it's gonna come out. Really, really curious.
Yeah, I think both of us are not really. Well, I don't know if I should speak for you on this, but I'm not really motivated, specifically money motivated, when it comes to this. Like, I want the business to be successful, but the experience for us is always going to come first, I think. And I think in making the decision to put the experience first, it's been beneficial to us because we've made a good enough experience that it drives more traffic to us. So like, maybe we are losing a little bit on the money if we were able to say have like one GM run 2 games or something like that. I'm sure that that's a big expense, having 2 GMs a game or 1 GM a game or however much it ends up being when the whole place is up and running. But I think I hope that the decision to to put all of our eggs in the basket of making the best possible experience at whatever the cost makes up the difference in the fact that we'll have the reputation and we have the hype that draws more traffic.
I can tell you that one thing that you guys have that so many other companies, escape rooms doesn't have, it's a building. You own the building, and it's honestly, it's amazing. Like this is the one thing that I wish we had, and we slowly going towards this direction. Like again, last few locations I've been opening, I've been looking to acquire a real estate, but it's challenging after COVID. Like everything shut up like crazy, so everything is became very expensive. And despite the fact that we were looking for options, amount of time it takes to find something, we basically were parallel looking for acquiring properties and leasing. And for both my last two projects, leasing were much easier to find. And still, it took us in one instance 8 months, in another instance like almost a year to find a suited location with the right price. I can see great future for you because you can invest in your build outs, and you know that there will be no time when there's landlord can say either I'm gonna like jump your price and now you cannot just afford it. In your case, you have this stability in the future.
Yeah.
You're right. And we do eventually want, like, we have plans for the future after this. We want another location as well. We want each location to be its own theme, basically. So this location is the cyberpunk city. And then we've already talked about our next location. We really want to make a medieval tavern. So
D&D style.
yeah,
tavern.
exactly. So all like fantasy themed games and an actual functional
Tavern.
bar. So that's kind of we're excited to make progress and hopefully get the next couple rooms open so we can start growing our brand, but also just our crew and scaling up our, the ability to take on more projects and to do the next project.
All right, give us a hint. Do you know where you're looking at? Is it going to be in Phoenix or somewhere completely different?
If I have my way, it's going to be somewhere with 4 seasons.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of room in Phoenix still. I think there's opportunity to do it here.
Or outside the U.S.
Okay, gotcha. Share with us some experience that you guys have. What is 3 things you would do differently if you have to start over again?
We learned a lot building the first room for sure. I blew up a lot of electronics, tons of wires that are run in every direction, so I think planning more ahead of time and knowing, like deciding on a standardized technology is something that I would do from the tech perspective. But, there's no way I would have known to do that or been able to do that not having gone through what I went through in sales. I think, yeah. So tech side, standardization. We're doing everything in the next room using power over Ethernet, trying to keep things more organized and planned out much better, basically. But that's tech side. What about?
Well, honestly, it's 2 sides of the same coin, because the way we would have centralized all the tech in one space so that we didn't have to crawl into the ceilings or pull things out of the walls to fix things. So right now it all lives where.
Sorry, there is a delay. Yeah, there is 2 ways to do it, implementation. So it's either centralized, where you have one brain that runs the whole operations and all wiring comes to that area where you can work on it, or everything is separate. And then there is the bonus of running that kind of system, or advantage, right? Is where everything is not centralized. If something goes down, well, the rest of the game still works. So which model would you suggest, or you prefer?
So what we were actually talking about is where each thing where it all lives in one place. They're all separate individual chips and individual things, but instead of the brain living behind each puzzle and or above it in the ceiling, wherever it is in the room, that it's all run power over Ethernet to, what did you call it? Dummy chips? What did you call them? You're like, the chips inside the puzzles basically just.
Yeah. So yeah.
You explain it. I'm not that person.
Yeah. So the way that we're doing it is we're trying to make the central computer kind of run most of the game, but each puzzle does have its own technology, its own chip, basically. But I've made it in a way that if something breaks, I can just swap out the component on each puzzle. So each puzzle is still separate, but everything is centralized in one location as far as the wiring goes, and everything is run over Ethernet cable. So there's just one cable that goes to pretty much every puzzle. So that handles all the power and all the data. So yeah, it's a little bit of both in your example. It's not really split. The puzzles are individually have their own technology, but there is the centralized brain and the centralized place where all the technology lives. We have the benefit of being able to swap out components if something breaks.
Nice. That's right. Now, do you have ability to override? So, for example, something is not working. Do you have ability from your control room to push the button or something, send a signal, and for it to maglock to open so they can continue?
Everything. Yeah, everything has overrides. And we're also building a lot of scalability into our game. Average escape room maybe has 12 to 15 puzzles. Sal Cybernetics has about 20 puzzles. The next room, we designed about 30 puzzles, but a lot of those puzzles are hidden and you won't be presented with those puzzles unless you're going very fast. So we can scale the experience depending on the experience of the players or how fast they're going. So not only can we override every puzzle, but we can make the room kind of customized based on the players that are playing it so that we can optimize the experience, make sure they're in there for, they don't finish it super fast if they're skilled players, and that they finish the game if they're not skilled players. So yeah,
That's
we're trying
beautiful.
to do a lot with the technology.
We're basically trying to have like, this is the normal, this is the baseline, and we can go down or we can go up depending upon your performance at that point,
That's nice.
while
And
trying
so
to get
you
them as close to that minute or 90-minute mark as possible.
Yeah.
Nice. And you mentioned that this second room going to be much bigger, right? So are you planning to have it still 60 minutes with the more puzzles, or are you plan to do it longer?
So the one that's about to open isn't bigger. It's just we're going for more of a puzzle palooza type.
Sure. It's a puzzle fest.
Puzzle fest, that's the word. Neon Streets, which is the second one we started building, but the third one that's probably going to open. That one is twice as big and twice the square footage of Cells, and we are shooting for a 90-minute room on that one.
We're not sure yet about, so the next room to open is going to be the factory or Crux Factory, and we're not sure if that one's going to be 60 minutes or 75 minutes. I think whatever the experience dictates, like when we finish it, is how long it's going to be. We're going to try to let it feel, we'll test it and see what feels right. But for sure, Neon Streets, which is now the third room, is going to be, we're going to shoot for a 90-minute experience.
At least.
At
It might
least,
be
yeah.
more, to be honest.
And yeah, it's twice the size of Sal's Cybernetics, and it's got some cool mechanics in it that'll help us also to be able to scale the experience pretty well.
Nice. As far as pricing, will it be more expensive because it's longer and bigger, or what is your and tell us a little bit more about in general your price structure right now.
So right now our tickets are $39 a piece, which is pretty standard for Phoenix Industry. And then we do allow groups of 2, but instead of requiring like a minimum ticket, like minimum number of tickets, we have a small group fee, which essentially brings us up to minimum operating costs. And that falls off as soon as they add the third person. And we can do up to 6 in that room. We won't do any less than 2 because you can't physically operate the room with less than 2. And we say, hey, look, you're going to have a little bit more hustle than, say, a larger crew would. But I think because of that, we get a lot of date nights because everybody knows you can definitely play our room with 2 people, even though there is that small group fee. It's like us saying, it requires 3 tickets, but people think you need 3 people. So by saying 2 plus a small group fee, they automatically know without a doubt they can play with 2. So a good chunk of ours is date nights, and it's really funny.
Yeah, people are turned off, like, or they've told us like, oh, I really wanted to play, Nemesis Club, but they require 4 people, and they're like, oh, you can buy 4 tickets and play with 2 people, but they're like, oh, you can? I didn't know that. So I think the fact that we phrase it in a very specific way, saying, yeah, this is a minimum, or 2 players can play the game, but there's an extra fee, helps us to grab that business. But also, I think we're thinking of the next room making our minimum, 3 or 4 players, because from a monetary perspective, obviously, it's still difficult to have the 2-player, even with the extra cost, it's difficult. And as long as we have Sal's available as a 2-player game, then I feel like we still are providing that.
And the next room, like I was saying, is a puzzle fest, so it is going to require a minimum to operate that room and get out. And if it does end up being longer than a 60-minute, then yes, the tickets will be more than 39. It'll be proportionate to the amount of time.
Me traveling, playing other games around the country, I noticed it's trending where more and more escape rooms start doing minimum 4 people, requirement. And just like you mentioned, yeah, some of them you can play with 2, but you have to pay for 4 tickets. And I think it's depends on your booking system. Some booking system it can clearly specify it's just you choose 2 people and it just shows you the price. But I think some of the softwares it's not that straightforward. Yeah, I remember particularly in Phoenix, I was actually surprised how many escape rooms was doing this 4 people minimum.
Yeah, because Nemesis Club does it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Is
Yeah.
that the way you do it at Paranoia Quest too? Is it 4 minimum, or do you let people book?
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. Walter,
I know.
our manager there should know. Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I remember hearing from other customers, I know you can play your prison one with 2, but the rest of them, they want more, I think. If I remember correctly.
Possible. Yeah, I cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah. I could look it up.
Cool. Yeah, that's our current. I'm sure at some point we might have to look at that again at what makes sense.
With the way the industry
Yeah, we always check around to see if prices are going up and try to match ourselves with other top tier experiences.
What booking system you guys use and or what processing platform?
We use Bookio for our booking, and then we also use Square. And then we pair with BuzzShot for all of our waivers.
Yeah, and photos.
And then I use
Okay.
QuickBooks, which syncs up really nicely with Square anyway, so I don't have to import anything. It takes care of it for me.
Yeah, we are considering or have been considering going to Off the Couch as our ticketing provider. We know Nick well enough. He's a good guy, and you can tell he's putting a lot of effort into trying to solve the problems. But Bookio is just so cheap, and it's like the bare bonesest ticketing solution. It's very easy and cheap, and does a good job for us. So it's hard to replace something that's working.
Yeah, and for whoever watching us right now online, make a note, like if you're planning to open the solution that the guys just described, it's actually used by many other escape room owners and some other attractions owners. So Bookio is one of the most affordable, and honestly, it's very durable. I feel like I almost don't remember any instances where it was down, and this is what it's well known for. There is a lack of customer support as far as live customer support, like people who using a Fair Harbor or Pick Pro, they a little bit spoiled on this end because they can call and there is somebody will answer their phone. But of course, a lot of people talking about the 6% fee. A lot of people against it because it's a lot of money that's and again there is pros and cons. A lot of people talking about, well, this is not the money I'm paying out of my pocket, and some others saying, well, if you're gonna just add 6% fee, for example, if you're using Bookio, then it can come to your pocket. So there is, like, I know both sides, and I hear it always talking about it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like Zola or like the ones that try to pass along huge percentages onto the customer. Like they say, oh yeah, we don't take a lot of money out of your booking, but then they add on extra fees. I hate when from the customer experience where you see the extra fees get tagged on. So yeah, that's something I want to avoid. And then oh yeah, Morty has their book hooked up with us now too. So we do get bookings through Morty also.
Nice.
So we lose a little bit of money, but I'm happy to support Morty. Like Morty has been very, very helpful in driving a lot of business our way. So it's one of those things. It's like, even if we lose a little bit of money, I think it's a worthwhile expense.
Nice. Yeah, I use on a lot of my locations Resolver just because we have like long-term contract with them, and I use on some of the other businesses Bookio. And in the past, long time ago, I used Fair Harbor, I used and Pick Pro, but it was like 10 years ago. So it's interesting. And off the couch, so we've talked with Nick multiple times. We actually should have a podcast with him soon as well. And I'm planning to potentially use him on one of our future builds with escape rooms, because I want to test it, I want to understand it and see pros and cons, how it works and how it can, help us with bookings.
It looks great. I keep running into it now in the industry anytime I'm traveling and playing rooms, and it's slick. It looks like it works really well. So, and it looks very customizable, which is something that Bookio unfortunately isn't. I tried to work with their customer service to change just like the text on one field to make it so that it would say like, this is the small group fee. I wanted it to pop up in the window that I wanted it to, and they wouldn't make that adjustment. They're like, nope, sorry, it doesn't do that. So
Hmm.
that customization, I think, is that's worth the price probably.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm working right now on an AI tool that's going to help us. So right now, because again, I have a bunch of locations on Resolver, we're doing integration with Resolver. I also have a call center, and all incoming calls works through the call center, but we build a AI receptionist, right? An idea is to use it either after hours or when there's a bunch of phone calls comes in, or like on Saturdays, and you don't have time to pick up second, third, fourth line. AI receptionist takes over, answers the questions and stuff, and it can send the link for booking page, and people can make booking. But what's cool part that we doing right now is we want to pull out information. Okay, so call came in. We want to make sure did they make a booking. If they made a booking, to transfer their information from Rizova to CRM. So we use a Go high level, and we're trying to build this integration right now where now somebody made a booking, it goes to our CRM, it comes with the date of birth through the waiver, and you can remark it to them. So you have their phone number, the email, what game they played. And if they come back, for example, it gives another tag, like now they played 2 games. So they repeat the customer, and you can send them a special discount. Hey, thank you so much for being our client and coming back. Here's extra discount for your birthday. So something I'm excited about. It's not built yet, not finished, but hopefully soon we're going to be able to finish and roll this out. It will be pretty cool. And then we were, planning to, as we're going to start using off the couch and potentially we want to look how to implement it with Bookio. What system do you use for your email marketing?
We don't. Well, we have Buzzshot. Buzzshot has a lot of those features built in. It'll let us know, if they've played before. It'll let us know, they have marketing campaigns you can use. Specifically tell people that we are not going to contact them when they sign up on our mailing list until we have like very important news. So we try to be careful about. I hate receiving a ton of emails, but it's something that we have to look into. But in general, like we kind of pick our battles. We running social media is already like a lot to add on to our plate. So email marketing on top of that, it's like it's just 2 of us. So it's like, we we don't have the bandwidth to even like dive into that, to be honest.
Honestly, I hate spam. I'm not sending it.
Yeah, we don't like being spammed, so we don't want to spam people. So when our next room is open, we'll take all the emails that we've collected, we'll send out a big blast. We'll send a few of them, we'll remind people when it comes out, but until we have news to share, we don't want to share anything.
It would be so cool if you were recording the progress and share the progress, because there is a few other escape room builders who is doing some incredible work and they share in their progress, and I think it helps them to spread the word, and a lot of people follow them on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and the kind of work you guys doing, it's so incredible. I think there would be so many people who would follow it and enjoy it. But again, as you saying, it's like almost like another full-time job.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
almost feel like it gives away some of the surprises too.
Yeah,
At least in the next room.
the next room we have some surprises we don't want to give away, but we might be able to share some little things that are less interesting, but still, I agree. Like I love tuning in and seeing behind the scene pictures of the process of stuff coming together. We are going to be doing another temporary build for Neotropolis. So we did last year like a mini pop-up escape room there, and next year we're going to be doing the same thing, but we have an even larger team of escape room creators that we're bringing together. So we have about 15 different like of the top escape room creators that I know, and we're all trying to collaborate on this cool project. So that's something that we can document and we can share as we're building it, because it's less spoilery.
Did you feel like last year when you participated, I remember you posted the pictures and videos. Did you feel that it helped you to promote your escape room?
Yeah, it was definitely helpful for the promotion. I think it was also helpful because we were able to kind of test some ideas out and build some puzzles that we could then reuse in our escape room.
Yeah, the pop-up last year was actually Crux Factory, and then the third room is loosely based on that one. So we did take several puzzles to that event that are now going to be in the new room.
Yeah, so we're serving kind of dual purpose where we can
Yes.
stress test, especially in the middle of the desert. It's got to be pretty durable to survive out there. But
Rain or shine.
yeah, yeah, we got rained on. That was a challenge. So helpful, yes, to spread the word, to make a lot of connections. There's so many amazing creators that go to Neotropolis, so it's great networking, but also just to
We had,
build cool stuff.
we had quite a few people that came through that was like, "Oh, I saw the video from Neotropolis, and this is the thing." We have one of the props in our lobby right now, and everybody wants to play with it because they saw it on a video.
Marketing, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you guys should do more of it because again, the product that you're doing, for us as a marketing company, right? It's so much easier to work with companies who has great quality product because there is something to show and it's exciting and there's a light, there's elements, there's I don't know, fog and music. It makes our job so much easier instead of when we're talking about with just few puzzles on the walls here and there, no sound, no light, it makes it much harder.
Yeah, hopefully when we grow our team here, when we start hiring GMs, we can push a little bit of that towards them. I know just making content regularly is challenging, especially because we're both very perfectionist, and I know social media and perfectionist doesn't exactly go together. I like to spend a lot of time to polish things and to edit, to add sounds and add music, and I know like that's we need quantity over quality sometimes, so we just need to start pumping out more marketing content in general.
Like sometimes raw footage is way funnier than the edited stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, guys, thank you so much. We a little bit over the hour right now. I think it's perfect. I hope you guys are gonna open a new room soon so we can spread the word because I cannot wait. I'll probably travel to the Phoenix just, to try it out.
Yeah, we're excited. We're overdue for sure. So we're excited to have a new room. Yeah, like we try to be as approachable as possible. So if anyone ever has any questions, ever wants to learn more about what we do here, feel free to reach out to us, and we try to do our best to be available and to talk to people who have any questions.
Awesome. And it's the Immersive Machine in a Phoenix. Make sure to visit them and like their Facebook page and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we're gonna, talk more soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for all you're doing.